A common misconception about student financial aid is that you should only apply if your income is below a certain level. Because of this, a lot of students and families approach financial aid from the wrong angle, a lot of times assuming that they make too much money and so they shouldn't apply. That's why in this video we're going to discuss what to know about financial aid income limits, and at the end I'll also go over some frequently asked questions. We have to start with understanding how financial aid is calculated. When you, the student borrower, fill out the FAFSA, the result of the FAFSA is called the expected family contribution. That's a dollar amount that your family is expected to pay each year while you're in school. When you fill out the FAFSA, you enter where you're going to school, and the FAFSA pulls in the cost of attendance for that school. It calculates your expected family contribution by awarding you a financial aid amount. Now, the cost of attendance, that's set by the school. That's tuition, room and board, books and supplies, and other expenses set by the school or the program that you're applying to. If you're going to undergrad, your expected family contribution has to do with your family's information, your parents. If you're going to graduate school, your expected family contribution has to do with your information. In either case, the expected family contribution takes into account income, both taxed and untaxed. It takes into account your family size. It takes into account dependents going to school at the same time. And it also takes into account what you own and what you owe. That's how financial aid is calculated. There's an online reference to how much aid you can expect to receive based on income brackets. And we point to that reference on our blog. So if you check out our blog, there is an online chart put together by the National Center for Education Statistics. That chart shows how much undergraduate students can expect to pay for school based on family income and type of institution. What you'll find when you look at that chart is that you can still receive some need-based financial aid even if your family makes six figures. When you fill out the FAFSA, financial aid is awarded in the form of need-based Pell Grants. That's money that is awarded to you and you don't have to pay back. Also federal work study. That's a campus job where you get paid an hourly wage. Direct Stafford subsidized loans are need-based Stafford loans for undergrad only, and direct Stafford unsubsidized loans are for both undergrad and graduate students. And lastly, Direct Plus loans, I would break those down between Parent Plus loans for undergrad and Graduate Plus loans for graduate school. Now for some frequently asked questions about financial aid income limits. The first is there a limit to federal financial aid? In short, yes. For undergrad, it's based on your year in school and whether or not you're a dependent or an independent student. So there's a range, and it goes from $5,500 for dependent first years all the way up to $12,500 for independent fourth years. I know that doesn't seem like much, especially when you're looking at the cost of attendance for undergraduate institutions. Just know that you can fill that gap with Parent Plus loans or with private loans. If you're a graduate student, the shortfall should be able to be covered by Direct Plus loans all the way up to the cost of attendance. Second question, is there an income threshold that disqualifies you from receiving student loans? Answer is no. You or your family cannot out-earn your ability to receive student loans because not all student loans are exclusively need-based. The amount that you can receive on the federal side is simply capped at the cost of attendance. At what age does parents' income not affect financial aid? This depends on whether you're considered an independent student or still a dependent student. And there's a couple ways to get there. So if you're over the age of 24 by January 1st of the year that you're expecting to receive aid, then you're considered an independent student and your parents' income won't affect your financial aid. If you're a U.S. military veteran, if you are married or separated, or if you have dependent children, those are all different ways in which you could be considered an independent student and not have your parents' income affect your financial aid. Can you get financial aid if your income is over $100,000? Yes, some households who have incomes over $100,000 can still get need-based federal financial aid. And from what we've seen, that's usually because they have multiple children in school at the same time. Lastly, what should you do if you've maxed out your federal financial aid? So that's a two-part answer. So for undergrad, if you've used all of your federal financial aid, you could go to a traditional bank or credit union or online lender to get a private loan. Just be sure that you've taken a look at the repayment period so that you know what to expect when you graduate and what your monthly payment is going to be. If you're in graduate school, you should be able to cover the cost of financial aid up to the cost of attendance with federal loans, with a combination of direct Stafford loans and direct Graduate Plus loans. And if you find that you're still short while in graduate school, you can still go to an online lender to get loans as well. And that wraps up our frequently asked questions for this video. Whether you take out federal loans or private student loans, you should be aware of what those loans can be used for. To have a better understanding of what that looks like, check out our next video.